Get started. Two little words that should nudge you out of your room, give you that kick, and get you out going to do the things that you love to do. It's not just about goods and services. Sometimes it's also about the hard work and the hard liftings and the crazy stuff, like the big buildings that we are all envious about. Some of those amazing skyscrapers that we see across the world. It's coming up because some amazing individuals, from an architect to a site plan engineer, and amazing people are doing lots of things to put a building up, like this particular one. That's why I'm very excited about the next person I'll be speaking to on Get Started. His name is Mr. Kwaku Afriyie Frimpong, and he'll be walking me through the rudiments of getting started in the construction industry. And, oh, here he is.
Hey, Jay.
Everything good? All right.
This is yours.
It's mine. Oh, okay. And as you know already, you never go into the building until you're geared up. And this is me getting started. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome.
There's a lot of noise around. It's
a lot of
noise.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Is this a type of business that a young entrepreneur should get into?
I would say yes. Young entrepreneurs should get into it, but it takes a lot of fundamentals. If you've not had the basics to start all this, trust me, you come in hit up front and you're going to go back. So you need to have all the fundamentals before you're able to come for this work.
Okay. You need to have the fundamentals. You've got to be ready. You must be tough. But I'm going to ask you what the fundamentals are. On Get Started, we'll try to get into the rudiments just to help you walk on this amazing journey. So from where you sit, let's talk about maybe 3 or 4, 5 things that I need to know before I walk on this journey where you are.
Okay, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
For me, I started with my JSS, my secondary school, KNUST, MSc, my professional exams, all has been construction.
Wow.
So I've done construction all my life. So from where I started from, after school, I worked at a company for a while. I decided, no, I'm going to be on my own. I started set up this company, and now I'm here. So if you don't have the fundamentals, somebody from maybe probably human resource could come into this, but you might not be able to succeed, even though you might push 1 or 2, 3. But you get to a point, you're going to hit a stumbling block, and you're going to reserve. But you must make sure that you have all the fundamentals. Which one? You could be going to school, having the basics. Some may also learn on the job. But then once you have the fundamentals and you come into it, you must still push for it.
What's the biggest thing that I must know as a young entrepreneur? So I drive around a lot. I see lots of new buildings coming up. What do I need most? Is it the money? Is it the is it how to get into the design work? Is it having some good friends? Is it how to mix mortar? So what's the biggest thing that I must know before I try to touch a field like this?
We have various sectors of construction, various sectors. There are some projects that you're going to have the architects, project manager, quantity surveyors supplied to you by the client. Others, you must have them in-house to build. With all these things, you must make sure that you, the boss himself, or you that you want to start construction, you must have knowledge about it. Because if you don't have knowledge about what you're going to do, trust me, you're going to fail. With all these things, you must have a little bit of capital, a little bit of it. Because there are certain projects where you might have to pre-finance before the client pays you. So with all these things, you must make sure that you, being the boss or you wanting to be into this business, you must have knowledge about it.
How much capital is capital? Let's say I want to build chamber and halls for rent. Say I have my land and I want to build chamber and halls and rent it out. How much capital is capital enough to get into this area, holding the chamber and halls as a constant?
We don't have a straight jacket costing for it. Every project and how the client wants it. There are some finishes. We have A class, B class, C. So with all these things, I would say you wanting to start into the construction, you wanting to start work as a contractor, you must make sure that at a point, you should be able to pre-finance while the client is not ready. Sometimes the client may have a little bit of financial issues, but you should be able to pre-finance and it depends on the project as well. Some projects are huge, some are quite small. My first project I did was a residence, so that one was very small. I needed to push a little bit. So it depends on the project that you're doing. Some are huge, some are small.
The first project you did, what made the person believe in you to give you the job?
Okay, I had worked with a man before where a company I worked for. So he knew my capabilities, he knew how hardworking I was. So when I told him I was into the construction myself, he gave me the try. He decided to give me the try. And yes, I delivered on time.
Once he gave you the job, what did you first do once he gave you the job? Did you decide to find the right labor to get the job done? Or you went around looking for those who would supply the materials for you? What did you do first?
First of all, he gave me the drawings, and me being a quantity surveyor by profession, I went through the drawings, built up the cost. Then I went for the materials. You get the materials, I got the labor. Well, there are some people I knew before, the masons and the carpenters. I called them, I made sure they had come to visit the site, seen what the drawing entails. That's where we moved from. So we first get the materials, first get the labor, and I might make sure all whatever you need for the projects are in place as and when you need them.
So there are those who argue that for you to get into this particular area, maybe learn the fundamentals differently. Maybe learn how to sell sand, maybe learn how to deal in iron rods, maybe learn how to even rent an apartment for somebody. And once you master yourself in that particular area, you can scale up. Do you agree with that assertion?
It's a yes and a no. A yes because sometimes you might have to be in the industry to know how it works. Because if you're not working in the industry, you wouldn't know the basics or the left and the right about the construction. It's a no also because some people have not had any idea or experience with construction, but they still come in, employ the experienced people or those who have the expertise and have still made it. So it both it's a yes and a no. If you want to be into the construction industry, it could be that you must make sure you work in the industry before you can make it. Other times, but it's all hard working you are.
Kwaku is my guest here on Get Started. He's one of the bosses at Georotche, and he's taking us through what he perceives to be the fundamentals you need to get right. One, you need to have some good knowledge in the industry. And two, his built experience because he schooled himself through the process to where he is today. And therefore, you need to get the fundamentals right. Part of the fundamentals would be understanding the industry itself, learning to build the right partnerships, and to get yourself ready. But the big question is this: why do you get into this industry? Obviously, to make some money. We all work to make money. So let's talk about the commercial side of the business. Is it a money-making venture being in this whole construction industry?
Well, I would say yes. Money is good. We all like money. Yes, but I came into construction because of my passion. I love buildings. I love to dirty myself in the construction. So anytime I see construction, even before I started working, when I see a project, I can just walk in, ask questions about what is going on here. I love my passion is for construction. But there again, yes, we are working for money. So anytime I'm working, I must make sure I get something into my pocket.
Somebody would say, if we don't make the money, what can we gain? So I have, say, $100,000 to invest in a construction business. What kind of margins or returns should I be looking out for today? Obviously, I could lose, but what should I be looking out for?
Well, it depends on the project sometimes, but then if it's a commercial building, for instance, you could be looking at probably 20%, 30% profit margin. But sometimes when you're losing, you could also look at about 15, 20% loss.
Wow.
It fluctuates. It's not a clear-cut something with the construction industry. So if you come into this industry and you don't take your time, or you probably don't market your building or your structure very well, you could lose, you could gain. Both at that percentage.
What are some of the observations you've made in the industry that leads people to losing on an investment within the construction area?
Well, I think sometimes you might have to do your background checks well. If you don't invest into the correct property or the correct
building
you want to do, you might lose. Sometimes this building, for instance, is going to be for a radio station. When you are done for the radio station, obviously, even if they decide to move out, you're still going to get somebody to come and rent it out. But if you don't do your background check well, where your structure is, let's say you are building somewhere for Amasaman, and you decide to go get a radio station there, the probability of you losing is high because there are few radio stations at Amasaman. If you are doing in Ridge, the probability of you gaining is high because at Ridge, almost everybody wants to rent a property at Ridge. So you look at the location of your structure, and you look at certain other factors, which probably I can't go into all now.
There has always also been the issue of land challenges or land tenure system in Ghana. How pervasive is that for you?
Land. Sometimes I think some people, some Ghanaians, actually make the mistake in where they purchase from. If you should purchase from the right source, you make sure you get your documentation before you make payment. You go check at the Lands Commission. If nobody has bought it earlier, then probably you are good to go. If not that, some people, or if you don't take care, some chiefs or wherever it is you go, might sell a land that's already belonging to somebody for you. So with land acquisition, I think sometimes we should blame our own selves for whatever issues that we go through. If you should go to the right person and purchase from the right source, trust me, you're going to be good.
You're still watching Get Started with me, Georotche Japan. My guest today is Mr. Kwaku Afriyie Frimpong. He's one of the boss men, the chief capos at Georotche, and he's walking us through his life as a construction person, finishing school, immersing himself in the process, understanding what the challenges in the terrain are. And now I will take the form of a 24-year-old who's watching the program and who wants to get started. So I'm 24 years. What should be important for me at this stage? I want to be like you. What should be important for me in the next 1 year, 2 years? What should I be doing?
Trust me, when you're done with school, 24 years, the best thing you should do, or the first thing you should do, is to make sure that you learn. If you can get a company to work with, it's going to be the best, ideal. Make sure you learn, understand what construction talks about. Because if you don't know how to put the block and the block and the block and the block, you can't get the building up. So you must make sure you understand what construction talks about. With that, if you want to be on your own, maybe for some time, yes. After that, a couple of years, 2 years, you can do that. But with you wanting to work under a company, it's best for you to understand what it talks about. It's best for you to be with a company that's already established. Trust me, if you do that and you leave the company one day, you go be on your own. Everybody who comes to you will make sure that we see that whatever you are doing is the best of the best. So it's best for you for the first 1 or 2 years for you to learn from a company, understand what construction talks about, and then you are good to go from there.
Work for a company, join a consultant, find a construction firm, and align yourself to them. That's the advice that Kwaku is giving us right here on Get Started with me, Georotche Japan. I think that this is a very tough journey. Again, it's not a very easy one. It's never easy until you get started. And this is one of the journeys that, with the right mentorship and with the right support, you will do amazingly great. Kwaku is volunteering to be a mentor for many of the young people out there. So if you're interested in being mentored by his good self, send us a message to any of the social media handles that you're seeing there. DM me, let's have a chat, and I will connect you to him and you have a better conversation. And you pick up from where you want to get off. My name is Georotche Japan. I think it's been great. It's been awesome. And I'll interact with you again next week. You can follow us all the time. Listen to our program on Star 103.5 FM every Saturday between 2 and 3. Follow our social media handles. And don't forget, it's only scary until you get started. Kwaku, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.